Or even suspected of spying or sabotage.
We have at any given time in Estonian waters anywhere between 5 and 10 vessels that are actually part of the so-called Czech fleet.
Commodore Ivo Vark is the head of the Estonian.
Court to Wimbledon, also on the Piccadilly Park closed, rain is laying it to Uxbridge. In Tottenham, the 810 High Street partially blocked in both directions, queuing traffic due to a crash at St Lloyd's Road. Traffic back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium along the High Road, onto Bruce Grove and Lordship Lane. I'm Dan Simpson.
The stories we tell
about the people we know
and the places we love
are not just made here.
They're stories made of here.
The British are so deliberately important for nature.
Yeah, we might find that kid who's got the notes out who's in a match day past us and happy players.
The thing is,
moving back to Paris was
made of Belfast,
Liverpool, Cornwall, Glasgow,
Newcastle,
Cardiff, London.
Made of here.
Because this is our BBC.
30 minutes later. Now, it's up to me. I can't believe it. I'm really doing this research. Building a farm, the steps is not good enough, which I'm good right? When you're doing research, as I write this message, snowy, heavily, now I spoke to Carlos Garcia, where I'm in 2 weeks ago, and she said that there was going to be some wintry things. I questioned whether it was snow. And it looked snowing over in Ireland. So,
the freedom of the seas is crucial. All international trade.
There are also fears of Russian retaliation. Russia's embassy in London told us that it's the West's sanctions that have heightened risks of fundamental independence. The decades-old rules of the sea.
kiss? Well, scientists at Oxford University may have discovered that kissing evolved from about 8 ancestors 21 million years ago, and there's a chance that sapiens and Neanderthals kissed each other. Dr. Matilda Brindle is lead author of the study that comes out today, an evolutionary biologist at Oxford's Department of Biology. Dr. Brindle, good morning.
Good morning.
What have you discovered?
So we have done some research into evolution kissing. We have found that it probably first evolved far back 21.5 million years ago in the ancestors of all of the large apes.
Okay, and what's the evolutionary benefit of a smooch?
Encourage that.
A lot of the posters, their emphasis was on the destination, where you were going, what you could enjoy by using the network to get you there. So it was often, visits to the zoo, to Kew Gardens, to museums and galleries like this one, the countryside in and around London, the kind of historic occasions that you could go to, the sporting occasions, all of these kinds of things. So it wasn't about showing, a tube train or a bus.
Georgia Morley is the lead curator of this exhibition.
These artworks are timeless and they're also really varied. So we had a lot of well-known designers who designed London transport, also some lesser-known designers, and a lot of female designers as well. It's quite difficult for women to be pharmacy designers in the 1920s. So it really shows how modern London transport was, how progressive they were. A lot of the posters show particular aspiration themes, just the latest fashion. So I think it really has kind of a glamorous and pop kind of feel that people can enjoy.
Art Deco is a little age of hope.
It's a huge amount of traffic, absolutely everywhere. Actually, top line zone 25 up to junction 12, very slow, going to 15 minutes of delays. Northbound M3 through the roadworks between Basingstoke and Hook, slow there. Also northbound A3 very slow as well. In Whiteley, Caterham bypass, we've got one lane blocked due to a broken down van there, just up at Croydon Road, which is the Bosworth Road roundabout there in Oslo, Rosewood Care. Slow in Ripley on Newark Lane, eastbound partially blocked, an accident there at the High Street causing a big southbound delay. And in Whiteley, very slow in both directions on the M245. As you go westbound, eastbound on the M as well, very slow. And that places with all turning out from this call 0800 587
Closure earlier this morning, but all reopened between junctions 12 and 11 now. In fact, the motorways are pretty good, apart from the M3, which has a bigger queue than we've seen any other morning so far, actually, through this lane closure that we've got just before junction 5 for Hook. That starts actually at junction 7, Basingstoke South, all the way up through junction 6, so some long delays around there. Even though that earlier problem on the M3 has cleared through, it did push a lot more traffic than usual onto the A4, coming off at junction 12, so both going down through Field towards Old Western Wharf and through Calcott into
into Reading town centre, both heavier than you would normally see at this point. Swallowford bypass is still struggling right from the bottom of the Swallowford bypass all the way up to junction 11 roundabout. So that's extremely busy on that section there, and also about a mile of queuing traffic in both directions to the north side of Kingsclear on the A339. So Headley side of Kingsclear, we've got some new roadworks there too. Any more updates, let me know please on 0808 100 1041.
Within 6 weeks of Christmas, so I think we're allowed to start getting circles sorted out. All of a sudden, immediately.
Just tell us it's controlled, it's slow, and the update is we're in a good relationship. The problem is that we relationships.
I've heard people apparently argue that the partner over someone's. So it's really should be a partner between couples. You know, sometimes it'll be one that's accusing the other of spending too much time on the phone, and they might get defensive, think, oh, it's not, I'm keeping an eye on the market, or, you know, kind of like important stuff I'm doing on my phone. Sometimes the couples will be quite self-aware and they go, listen, we're both guilty of this. It is a problem. It gets in the way of our intimacy, it gets in the way of our relationship. We're both responsible. So it's really just to look around you and then look at all the restaurant cafes, you know, what are most people doing on their phone? And it's not just people alone, but also people with their families, with their partners, with their friends, and equally ignoring each other. It's really present everywhere in our society.
I'm so aware of it, especially in the States. I'm so aware of it. I could go for it, and I just, you know, for me, I just think it's such a good thing to do.
Yeah, it is. I think, you know, take the state of what it is. We don't actually even need to be actively using the phone to be distracted. And really, it's a recent time at University of National Trent, with the German University of Würzburg, years ago. Is it just having your phone on your desk switched off can make you less attentive? So they test students basically, and they three different scenarios. One phone was out of the room, completely invisible, inaccessible. The other was the phone was on their desk, visible, and the other was it was in the drawer, so they knew it was kind of proximate, but yeah, they couldn't see it. And at each level of removal of the phone, the test results improved. So even just seeing it kind of makes us think, oh, I wonder what's going on. I wonder if the interview I did yesterday, if they come back to me. So even just seeing the thing makes us think, oh, I wonder what's going on in there. You know, and certainly in the dating, I think, you know, you could be thinking, I wonder, you have a got any other matches, something even more interesting going on with phone. So I think, you know, it's not enough even just to kind of switch our phone off to silent, or switch it off totally. If we can put it in our bags, that's the best way to kind of just, for it not to be a distraction.
It's frustrating, isn't it? I mean, if you sat there and sat on the phone, it can be a real
the first thing is, all of us are used to very high dependency on our devices, like it's typical voice training, WALT training. We've got like increasing your window of tolerance for being, disconnected from your device. It's not a small, periods of the day where you're having dinner, going for a walk, you spend time with your kids, and you've got half an hour to just switch my phone off in another room. And then over time, gradually increasing that. I do a day, I do some days which data off on my phone. You want to get left to being a day with my phone. So it starting small is really good. And then the other thing is, when you're with your partner, to make a conscious decision to switch off your device, to discuss that with your friend and partner or family member. Go, listen, I am trying, I notice I get distracted. So rather than having to goad the other person or doing, setting a good example, arguing, you know what, time with you is important to me. We're really busy. We rarely get to see each other. You know what? I'm going to switch my phone off.
That was Hilda. It's 9 o'clock across London. We're on Snowwatch right now. 0800 730 2000 is our number to dial. Our wonderful producers are standing by to take a call for you just to say, it's Snow. Go ahead.
From the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
play BBC Radio London.
and on your radio. The sound of London is BBC Radio London.
At 9, with the latest for London, I'm Matthew Schofield. An investigation by BBC London's found the number of mortgage repossessions has hit its highest level for a decade. Last year, 400 homes were repossessed in London. Banks and other lenders will take action against homeowners if they fall too far behind with their monthly payments. Aaron's been speaking to Diane Cowie from Duncan Lewis Solicitors about the reasons behind the rise.
I would say there has been an increase in mortgage repossessions, possibly due to the cost of living crisis and a knock-on effect from the pandemic. During that period, there was a stay to possession proceedings, and of course then there was a backlog as a result once that stay was lifted and mortgage lenders or landlords could pursue a possession claim.
Official figures suggest the rise in the cost of living slowed down in the year to October. Prices rose by 3.6%, the lowest level for 4 months. It's the last set of inflation figures before the budget next week. Chancellor Rachel Reeves has welcomed them.
I recognise that inflation, the cost of living, is still a big burden on families right across the country, and that's why in the budget next week I'll be taking targeted action to bring down inflation to address the cost of living.
Survivors of child sexual exploitation in London are to receive a package of support from City Hall worth nearly £2.5 million. It comes after the Met Police announced they're to re-examine hundreds of cases over the last 15 years. The Mayor, Sir Sadiq Khan, says the money will fund new independent sexual violence advocates and expand the provision of counselling. Conservatives say it's too little too late. In the United States, both chambers of Congress have voted overwhelmingly to force the government to publish files from the investigation into the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump had previously resisted calls to release them, but over the weekend he changed his mind. The BBC's Sarah Smith in Washington says the files have been a distraction for the president.
The political pressure is such that every single day he is being asked about the Epstein files. And he's made his frustration clear in social media posts by saying people are not focusing on what he says are the successes of his...
Close eye on your desktop computer, because it could all go wrong. We're entering the millennium. Good luck, everyone. I need the best song from the year 2000 from you to start things off. And let's just fingers crossed for the millennium on Friday. That'll be at 9 o'clock. What's the best song from 2000? Is it Stan? Is it Miss Jackson? Is it One More Time? Is it... I think, is it I Got a Feeling? Is that 2000? Anyway, you tell me, best song of 2000, text me now on 88291 and we might choose yours on Friday. It was later than that.
Chiefs.
Northerly breeze, so feeling the chill. We'll see highs of just 5 degrees Celsius, but fraction that wind chills. It will be even colder. Starts off cloudy with some showery rain, and that rain could turn to sleet or snow on high ground today, but drier off the back of that with some bright sunny spells late afternoon into the early evening. Overnight, mostly dry and clear, but it's going to see those temperatures drop below zero.
For an update anytime, you can ask your smart speaker to play BBC News for London.
BBC Radio London travel now on the District Line. Minor delays between Earls Court and Wimbledon due to cancellations. Still got a closure on the Piccadilly from Rayners Lane to Uxbridge. On the roads in Tottenham, queuing traffic along the High Street. That's the A10 due to an incident at St Loy's Road. Looking at the cameras, emergency services still on the scene at directing traffic, backing up to the Tottenham Hotspur ground now and on to Bruce Grove. Also in Kensington, heading out along the Hammersmith Road to Olympia. Police blocked off the road just off the Gyratory at the moment. I think it might be a broken down bus, but it's backing up right around that roundabout and onto North End Road. In Dagenham, delays A13 heading west into town from Raynham to Barking and the Lodge Avenue flyover. 30 minutes to get through there. Still got stop-start traffic on the M11 heading south just before junction 4, that's the North Circular Road, and on the M25 heading anti-clockwise, one lane closed due to a broken down van. It's backing up from junction 26, that's Waltham Abbey, to 25 for the A10 at Enfield. 2 miles of slow-moving traffic there. BBC Radio London travel, I'm Dan Simpson.
Got a smart speaker at home? Play BBC Radio London. Listen now. Ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio London.
Alan Paul at breakfast.
BBC Radio London.
I was looking for some sort of like, horn or like, alert noise, but alas, I don't have one. I can tell you, it is officially snowing right here on BBC Radio London breakfast. Great to see some messages. We had a message from Brandon. They're raising rubble. Sat in their car, filming snow. And look, that looks like it's Saturday. I don't know if it's a bit of permafrost on the grass, but it is cold and it is snowing in parts of London. Philip in North. I'm not sure about that, Philip. That looks like a bit of a frost. I think you're trying to defraud me out of the old snow. Do you know what? I really appreciate the message. All in Barnet has kicked it all off. He's texted up from the video as well. Keith from Watford, great to hear from you. The snow is falling across London. I should really play Shakin' Stevens. Instead, I'm going to play R.E.M. I can't play Christmas music. Anyone? Christmas music? No? Not gonna happen. 7 minutes after. Good morning.
So we thought, why not do that? And that's what we did. So we entered the cave about 10 in the morning. We crawled through the tight entrance series.
In order to get to the smithy and the copper smithy, what was it that was there that you were excited about seeing?
I was just curious to see what was up there more than anything. I was told that there were crystal pools up there that were worth seeing. I was told that there were really interesting phreatic passages up there which are
kind of keyhole-shaped passages formed by underground rivers. From the main drag, we headed up some climbs up into that area, and we explored all sort of main parts of the Upper Smithy. And in order to explore the final passage that we were interested in, we crossed a sort of rock bridge which was spanning the top of a rift passage. A rift passage being a tall, thin crack in the earth essentially, but you know, when I say crack, I don't mean a really thin one that's just inches wide. I mean one that's wide enough for someone to walk down if they're at the bottom of it.
So you're going over a rift, which is a chasm, and you're going over it on what?
On a rock bridge which is formed of rock that used to be part of the ceiling, and a long time ago, a very long time ago, collapsed and fallen and spanned across the top of this crack, if that makes sense, forming the bridge. That bridge is very much, well, not anymore, but it was up until what I'm going to tell you in a minute, a really quite permanent feature of the cave.
Nothing unusual in you crossing.
There had been a group there the previous week, you know, this sort of recognised place to go. So we crossed the bridge into the end of this passage, seeing what we wanted to see, turned to come out. And the plan now was to exit the cave the way we came, down the climbs, out through the door, etc., home in time for tea and meals. Now on the way out, Mark was the first person to step on that bridge. And I'm convinced to this day that he must have weakened it a bit.
He's a bigger lad, isn't he?
He's a big lad, yeah. But he crossed it with impunity, made it to the other side. I crossed it next, and when I stood on it, it just went. It collapsed underneath me. Well, the next few seconds are a bit of a whirlwind. I didn't really know what was happening, to be honest. It all happened so fast, so I could kind of feel my legs whirling around in midair, and I could feel my arms grasping around. And it felt for a short time like I might actually, if that makes sense, and that I might actually just about make it to the other side, like something out of a Hollywood movie.
Right.
I think what was actually happening was I was falling with this pile of rock, and then everything just, you know, everything just went black, and I've lost a couple of minutes. And I came to. I guess I must have made some coughing, stroke, groaning noises, and I heard. I guess Mark, but you know, one of them, maybe both of them, kind of shouting my name from above me or from somewhere.
How far above did you get an inkling of that?
Couldn't really tell at that point, to be honest with you. I mean, it was probably 8 or 9 meters.
That's about 3-story building, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. For those couple of minutes that I hadn't been making any noise for, Mark and Mel feared the worst had happened and I'd been killed. So it must have been quite a lot of relief to them when they heard me make some noise. You know, clearly I was going to be badly hurt, but at least I was alive.
Where did you land?
I landed in the bottom of the rift, on a pile of rocks. And I think that I fell down pretty much vertically. So I think that I landed on my legs. The right one snapped in 2 places, so tibia and fibula both broke. And I think I must have then fallen forward because most of my other injuries were frontal, or pretty much all my other injuries were frontal. So didn't know this at the time, but I had 3 broken ribs and a dislocated collarbone and a broken wrist. I'd also smashed my jaw up quite profusely. A couple of teeth broke, and